Welcome to the Spiritually Embodied Leader podcast. I'm Cynthia Gutierrez, the creator of Embodied Freedom, and I love to help conscious, heart-centered, spirit-led entrepreneurs learn how to regulate their nervous system and move through an embodied transformation so they can start and grow their online business with confidence, authenticity, and aliveness for more meaningful income and a deeper impact. On this podcast, we're going to be talking about how embodiment, mindset, subconscious mind, cyclical living, returning to nature, ritual, and ceremony can all play a powerful role in revolutionizing you and your business from the inside out. Now let's get into it. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Spiritually Embodied Leader podcast. I have been having to start and restart this episode because wow. I'm like, some of it's still surreal. I'm still processing what is going on in my life and finding the words to describe and finding my way with the words. So this is another impromptu off the cuff episode that was inspired by all of the DMs that I was getting because I was sharing a major life update in my Instagram stories, and people were DMing me of like, what is going on over there? Like, what are you doing? Where are you? And so I'm like, you know what? It's time to just share the details on an episode here. So yeah, I had been sharing in my Instagram stories that I was moving homes, and it was very different. You know, I was born and raised in the city, right? Mostly in Southern California. I've done a lot of moving throughout the world, studied abroad in Australia and visited Egypt, and I've gone to Europe and Canada, Mexico, Panama, which is something that is very close to my heart because in Panama, I went to an 18-day festival called Tribal Gathering. And that was probably the closest that I had ever gotten to knowing what it's like to live in a village. And man, every time that I would come home from Tribal Gathering, I would have a huge mental breakdown because of the drastic difference and realizing I'm like, wow, I feel so like just robbed of my community, of having tribes and the village and the communal support, you know, and it was very, very difficult. And because I've been to many transformational festivals, you know, like camping festivals, and did that for many years before I became a mom, and then started bringing my daughter and going as a family to the festivals, I'm just like, dude, I know I am meant to live more in nature. I know that I want to live in community with people that are like-minded, that have the same lifestyle values and such. And I've actually have lived into visions of me owning a home and having land and bringing in people, hiring people to help me establish, you know, like a communal fire and maybe a yurt or some place for people to do healing ceremonies in, and just different things, a community garden and stuff like this that is now a part of my reality. And even though in my vision I thought like, oh, it would be my home and I would want to create a community of my own and all of this, right? It's just amazing how I am now getting a taste of what that is actually like. And now I can take mental notes of certain things of being like, oh, well, if I was part of the head of the land, like, this is how I would do differently, or I didn't know this is what it's required in order to run this and that. And also getting different perspectives of the people, the community members, and the strengths, the weaknesses, the room for improvement, and being able to like be a part of the collaborative creations and events and visions that we all want to be a part of here on this community that I am now a part of. And it's pretty wild because actually, if you haven't heard yet, I just created a free workshop called Timeline Jumping Workshop. And it actually puts that into practice of bringing to mind a very specific vision and living into it, seeing it through your own eyes, hearing what you heard, seeing what you saw, feeling what you felt of what that vision was like. And it's like I've done so many different versions of this. And so I've created one that has the best of all of the different versions that I've experienced. And I put it in this workshop and it's free. I'm going to link it in the show notes if you'd like to try it out for yourself, because wow, like the power of your focused attention and intention and the amount of time and effort that you put in to seeing it through, even if it's just envisioning it, and getting the details, feeling it in your body, receiving the insights that that future version of yourself and that future timeline wants you to know in the present moment. Like, do not underestimate that. It is so powerful. And I am like, wow, speechless at this point. I think that's why I've had to restart this episode, because I'm just like, whoa, dude. Like, to find my way with words on what has happened and is happening, I'm just like, whoa. So anyway, I highly encourage it. Check it out. It's absolutely free. Please take the time to cultivate your power to manifest what it is that you want in your life, because you can do it. And I am just living proof of what's going on here. So yeah, like I was saying, I've been born and raised in the city life in Southern California. And with my exposure to camping and festivals and travel and indigenous communities and all sorts of different things, I one day came across this ad on a Facebook group, and I was like, that sounds really nice. It's very different, but like, who knows? I was already getting an inkling that it was about time for me to move on from the home that I was living in at the time. And I was so grateful for that, because it was one of those things where it's like, in a way, I have nowhere else to go. And that family member, they were willing to help me, because it's like they had to make certain adjustments and exceptions for me and my daughter. And I'm just so, so grateful, Yes, every place has their challenges and blessings as well. And of course, it's all meant to grow us in one way or another. And at that time, I really needed it. And even though I didn't feel fully ready to move on, Spirit was showing me certain opportunities for me to just even inquire about and look into and communicate with the father of my child, and being like, hey, and it just so happened that he didn't really find a place for himself either. He was moving out of the home that him and I had separated in, and he was having a difficult time finding a different permanent place for him to settle in. So he was also like renting out rooms and just hadn't fully rooted down yet. And I'm just like, you know what? After him and I have grown individually since like 2.5 years of our separation, and we had grown and healed. And I was like, you know what? If you had your own unit and I had my own unit, and like we co-parent in closer proximity, this seems like the perfect setup for us as a family. And just everything that's provided here, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to surround my daughter with, and some things I got to be extra mindful of. And I had certain things put in place that I felt like, okay, she's safer now. And I had to do my own due diligence with that. And we're still kind of working out the kinks and dialing things in. So I followed my intuition, and I started making the moves to, reaching out on the phone number that was on the ad, and making appointments with the father of my child, Cody, the co-parent. And we started visiting the land. And then eventually I brought my daughter too to check it out. And she's like, I really like it here. And man, one thing led to the next, and we finally got approved to live with this community that is a health and wellness nonprofit organization that offers various things, like a major community garden, and it has this own private disc golf course as well. And it's got some stages that they can host some live performances, and they have a community kitchen and community bathrooms, shower. And so they had a few of the RV trailer camper units that Cody, my daughter, and I are renting out. And it's just so exciting because now that I've been meeting more of the community members and we're kind of brainstorming the different events and things that we can host here, because I've also been told there's going to be a teepee built here as well as a geodesic dome and I believe a traditional sweat lodge. And not only that, there are other families that live here, and one of them also homeschools. And my daughter and their kids have already started playing and establishing a relationship. And it's just like, I am, wow. I'm still wrapping my head around it, and I am just so grateful, so, so grateful to be here. I just can't help but to take a moment to say thank you, God. Thank you, universe, to all that is holy for bringing me here and for allowing me to share and show what is possible. Because if something like this has been on your heart, and it may be a different version of it, you know, it may look a little different, but there's an essence, there is something here that you're like, yeah, like I want more of this in my life as well. Like, it is doable. It is possible, okay? Everything is figure outable. And I just want to really encourage you to take the time to tap into your heart and feel into exactly what it is that you want. What do you want? And most importantly, why do you want it? What does it make possible for you? And when you get the essence of that and you start to feel into your body of what that feels like in a visceral, sensational level, I want you to take some time to meditate on that, to be in that and bask in it. You are incredibly powerful, and I just want to encourage you to take the time to tap into that. And if you would like to be guided into that kind of a practice, then please check out the details in the description and sign up for the free timeline jumping workshop so that I can help you hone in on that particular vision. And you know what? I am going to say that while it is super essential for you to tap into the vision and live into it, I understand that it can be a bit, I don't know, maybe misleading when you have done this before and you're like, okay, yeah, how many more times am I going to do this until I actually start to see myself do the freaking thing? Because it can be really hard, especially for things that have been on our heart and is something that our soul is calling us to. It's going to fucking scare us because it's usually a really big vision. It's usually something that's like probably would take a miracle to make happen. And while miracles happen all the time and it's available and accessible to all of us, I understand that the fear, the overwhelm, the disbelief, right? The negative self talk that comes along with that. And also being like, dude, like, this is kind of like scary, a bit much for me to hold right now. Like, yeah, okay, in my mind, it looks great and dandy, but in my body, I'm just like, oh, like this, it's just too much. I have been there myself where I get super gung ho about something and I'm doing the goal setting and I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's go. And I show up in the beginning and then shit gets hard or something happens in my life where I'm like, oh God, I have to do something else because that seems just a little more important, or I have other responsibilities, or I start doubting myself. And it's like so much comes up in order to hold us back. And it's like ball and chain. And I can't help but to think, how many times am I going to be doing this? You know, circling around my potential and just wondering, like, when am I ever going to break through? Throughout the years of integrating embodiment and spirituality, as well as the power of our subconscious mind, I have come to realize there are some key components that need to be weaved into our lives in order for things to fully come to fruition, and not only come into fruition, but to be sustained, right? It's like, it's one thing to like manifest money when it shows up, but then how do we keep it? How do we be able to have it come on a more regular basis? How can we hold more levels of responsibility? And of course, be able to take care of ourselves and our family in the midst of it all, right? To be able to hold all of it. This is something that I've done for years, and I am just really looking forward to bringing in the best of what I know into a group coaching program that focuses on spiritual embodiment, nervous system regulation, and the inner leadership that is required to actually sustain the life and business that you're being called into, which is something I'm going to be sharing a lot more about. So definitely stay tuned to this podcast and to my social media. And if you want to be the first to know when the doors open and receive that early access entry point, then definitely join the priority list for Align to Lead. Okay. The link is also in the show notes. All right. So I actually got to get going. I got to pick up my daughter, but thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to be sharing more about this amazing community and where I'm going to be sharing more in-person events as well. So follow me if you aren't already, and we will connect very soon. Okay, take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. May this podcast continue to activate the spiritually embodied leader within you. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to take a screenshot, share it on your stories, and tag me at embodiedfreedom.biz. If you'd like to express your appreciation, please rate the show and leave a review on iTunes. I'm looking forward to connecting again soon. Take care.